Right, and welcome to Friday Reload number 16. Now, I appreciate you guys joining me for another wonderful Friday Reload. If this is your first time, what we aim to do is get you caught up on what you might have missed in the week with the Friday Reload. We try to keep it short, sweet, and just the meat. So we're cutting through the fluff, and we summarize just the best posts, news, and videos of the week. So we keep you updated on what you need to know about. We keep you on top of industry insights, and then we also bring you some of the greatest content from the week. So our goal with this is you can spend, 20 minutes or heck, even 10 minutes just browsing the blog post or a little bit longer watching the video or listening to the podcast and get everything you needed to know in the week without, having 10 different email lists you're signed up to or a huge feedly. I literally went through my feedly today. I think I had around 250 posts that I combed through to curate this for you. So I really put the time in so that you guys don't have to. Now, our major headlines for this week for the Friday Reload number 16 are how to go from 0 to 150,000 email subscribers, AdWords closes variant changes, the top 10 PPC advertising hacks of all time, and micro conversions. So, the first story that we have here comes to us from Jake Hauer, and this is actually TriggerCast episode number 10. So we had an interview with Jake Hauer, and it was a very interesting and pretty unique interview, I think. And the reason why it's so interesting is because he used to work, and he still does, actually, at a travel agency. From that, he actually ended up creating a software company called Fused App. So it's a pretty interesting story, I feel like, to go from that from travel agency, to a software company. He shares some of the insights he learned along the way from the drastically different businesses. Now, one big difference is that there's a high amount of personal touch with customers in the travel industry, and Jake details us how he's replicated that with two separate tactics within a software company. He also goes on to mention how he was able to get on stage at high-profile events despite the fact that he's pretty new to the space. Next up, we have another cool news story, and this is Instagram. So Instagram debuted their advertising and marketing tools. So they continue their push as a marketing channel. They announced recently that there will be a trio of tools for advertisers and marketers: account insights, and ad staging. Now they're quoted as saying, the new tools will help brands monitor their posts and campaigns by providing information on reach, impressions, and engagement. For example, an advertiser will now have access to a real-time campaign summary and data showing how their target audience is responding to each of their sponsored photos. Also, brand marketers will be able to better understand the best time of day to post a photo or video. We've worked closely with several of our advertising partners to make sure these tools meet their needs. We're now making them available to all Instagram advertisers whose feedback will help us improve the product before releasing it to additional brands later this year. So if you're familiar with Twitter or Facebook, it's pretty similar. Account Insights is just kind of how your posts are doing, impressions, engagement, reach when you posted them, things such as that. The Ad Insights basically just breaks down how effective an ad was. The typical impressions, what else do we have here? Frequency, reach, likes, comments. So it's giving you the stats, and then there's also the ad staging, and that allows you to preview, save, and collaborate on ad creative for upcoming campaigns. So Instagram starting to make their push. I mean, we just heard about how Instagram was going to kind of share data with Facebook, so this will be a pretty interesting 1-2 punch to see how are people leveraging Instagram and then Facebook to close. Instagram to kind of open up the conversation, and Facebook to close and maybe get a lead or a sale. Next up, we have a story that might seem a little strange. Hubpages acquires Squidoo. So why do we care? Well, let me get into it. Squidoo is going to move their content over to Hubpages after being acquired. Now, this is not a huge story, but the reason that I brought it up is I was reading and digging in the comments a little bit, and I saw a bit of backlash by Squidoo content creators, because they feel like they're being forced to move their content to Hubpages. I think Squidoo, there's different, I don't know the exact circumstances, but basically if you were on Squidoo, you're given a very short notice, say less than 2 weeks, that hey, you have to move your content. And there's basically, you can't say no. They really don't have a choice. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we've said something similar to this before, and we'll say it again. When you're building on someone else's land, you never truly own it. All right, so if you're getting likes on Facebook, don't forget who owns your Facebook page. Facebook does. You don't. So you do own your own content to a degree, right? You own what you post to YouTube. Sure, you might have the intellectual property and such, but they still own the platform. If they change their minds and they go into an unsuitable direction, like when people were moaning about Facebook reach really dropping, too bad. So I always encourage all content creators and business owners to leverage these assets, but also build up your own home, so to speak. Have your own website, have your own email list, have these different channels where you're not necessarily reliant on one, or you control them in some way. Having your own customer list, your own email list, your own buyers list, you control that. Your Facebook fans, bad things can happen. So this is another great example of that, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Now, next up, we have the real impact of AdWords closing the variant changes. So if you have not heard, AdWords is now forcing variant match, and everyone is extremely upset over this. Now, the main thing, without digging too deep, we are going to dig deep, but for everyone to understand it, is it's basically if you're really good at AdWords, you can't use this thing that's going to make your campaigns better. So AJ Cohen said it best: a big middle finger to those sophisticated enough to use exact phrase matching campaigns. So what does close variants mean? So essentially what it means is that if someone is searching for, in quotations, laptops, or in quotes, LPATOP, they're both going to trigger the exact match for laptop. Now, why is this a big deal? Two reasons. Google is continuing to erode options that the power users of AdWords value, and a small but significant number of advertisers have bad results with close variants. So if you're an AdWords power user, I'm guessing it's pretty likely that you've heard about the change. And I've included a few different links for those of you that want to dig deeper. So if you are doing anything with AdWords or interested in AdWords, there's a few more links. You can find them on the blog at digitaltriggers.io/Friday-reload-16. There's of course a link to the blog post in the podcast. Now those other three links are The Real Impact of AdWords Close Variant Changes by PPC Hero, 5 Steps to Adjust to Google's Latest Change to AdWords Matching Behavior by Search Engine Land, and Near Exact Match Monitoring AdWords Script by the SEM Post. So I'll be honest, I don't exactly fully understand the way the script works, but it seems that what you would have to do is basically individually check each keyword to see if it still works well with the change. So what they did was they created a script that basically did that for them instead of them having to go in and manually do it. So once again, you can get that link on the blog. Now next up we have, and this one is also a bit negative. Google AdWords bans paintball and other dangerous weapons. So, I mean, I grew up as a kid. I had pretty fond memories of my first BB gun and, shooting at cans. And I actually had some woods behind my house. I did grow up in the suburbs, so I wasn't out in the country, shooting guns or anything. But we all played with these paintball guns, and it was a lot of fun, an extremely good time. And none of us. I mean, I've never even shot a real gun. I've played paintball, over 20 times, 30 times, been to fields, and shot BB guns. I've still yet to shoot a real gun. But apparently Google is not happy with these dangerous weapons. So in less than a month, Google will be banning the advertisement of airsoft guns, paintball guns, BB guns, and gun scopes, ammunition clips, or belts in September. Now, this definitely seems like one of those cases where the lawyers have a little bit too much to say, and it seems like a shame. I mean, I gun control and these kind of larger issues are not what I'm focused on here so much as the fact that, I mean, at least I would say airsoft, paintball guns, BB guns, these are still relatively toys. I mean, and you can get them anywhere. So I don't think the advertising on AdWords, I think taking it away hurts more than for whatever reason why they wouldn't, keep it up there. And obviously they're going to hurt a lot of businesses with this as well, and they're going to miss out on revenue. So it seems like a strange move, and it kind of worries you. What are they going to deem, at this point now, that means Google's starting to deem what is fair and what's unfair. Now, obviously, something like male enhancement pills or fake pharmacy type pills, okay, I understand. That's a huge gray area. Most of that stuff is pretty bad. I can see where they'd want to keep that away. But when they kind of start moving into these kind of social ramifications of what's right and what's wrong, what happens with religious items, what happens with these other things, it starts to feel a little big brotherish, and it does kind of worry you if you are using the platform. So that being said, let's switch gears to something positive. So how to use micro conversions to improve Limp sales. So this is a post by Justin Brook over at I Am Scalable. And we've certainly all heard of macro conversions, or the end goal that we wish to have, which is usually a sale. So in getting that macro conversion, there are multiple micro conversions that must happen first. So focusing on, there's a video here, just a quick 30-second video. We're obviously not going to play it. Doesn't work out well on the podcast, but he's basically breaking down micro conversions a bit more, as we're going to. We also have a quote here: focusing on measuring your macro overall conversions, but for optimal awesomeness, identify and measure your micro conversions as well. So instead of looking at it as clicks to sales, let's break down the process a bit more. So if we look at a typical online sales process, visitor to a lead to a sale, through the lens of micro conversions, it's going to look a little different. So this is also, I would say, kind of breaking down the funnel. So the way it might look is: number 1, impression to click; 2, click to opt-in; 3, opt-in to email follow-up, which would be deliverability and open rate; 4, email follow-up to click email call to action; 5, click email call to action to click add to cart; 6, click add to cart, complete order form; 7, complete order form to process payment; 8, process payment to deliver product. So by breaking down the micro conversions, we can then look at the industry benchmarks or the results that we typically get. From there, we can analyze each micro conversion individually, looking for issues. So some of the suggestions he says is maybe your impressions to clicks, your click-through rate was too low, which could have caused your CPC to be too high and limited how many visitors you could have gotten. Or maybe your emails weren't being delivered and there's still people waiting to hear back from you about the thing that they opted. So ideally, you want to go through this process and set up the proper tracking tools so that moving forward, you will know and be able to keep an eye on all of your micro conversions. So if you are having a sales problem or you're looking to beef up your conversions, try breaking down your funnel and analyzing the micro conversions. I know this is something with, cart abandonment and the two-step order form, I believe it's called, or the 3-step order form, has had great results with, and we'll actually talk about with Chris Person. I believe we're going to have him on Tuesday. And really, it's just a good way to look at your funnel. There's more to it than just clicks and opt-ins and sales. And if you can break down these other pieces and kind of look at them and compare them in a way that you can say, this one portion is way too low, and if we increase it, X amount, it's going to create that much more revenue for us, or that much more sales, or we're going to convert our opt-ins that much better, which in return will lead to sales, and we can be more aggressive in our marketing. Now, next up, we have a slideshow, and this is the top 10 pay-per-click advertising hacks of all time. So I've become quite a fan of slideshows. It's a really nice way to consume content, I think. It's it's nicer than a blog post because you can just click through and you read on the screen, you consume it, next page. Kind of has this natural feel to it. So that being said, Kissmetrics really brings it with the slideshow, focusing on the top 10 pay-per-click hacks of all time. I've included a few of the key tactics below. So, hack Google's quality score metric to improve your ad rank while spending less. Optimize ad copy with one counterintuitive but insanely simple approach. Leverage mobile ads to cut out stages of the funnel where you are losing clicks. Capitalize on the first mover advantage with Gmail ads, mobile call buttons, and more. Analyze campaign performance to build an informed remarketing strategy. So if you're doing pay-per-click advertising, Facebook ads, PPC, AdWords, etc., definitely worth checking out. It's a nice, short, tight slideshow, and it's definitely worth checking out. Now, next up, we have, is it worth responding to blog comments? So this is focusing on blog comments. So Neil Patel, he responds to hundreds of blog comments. Says he basically spends 20 to 30 hours a week on it. To date, he's responded to over 50,000 comments. Now, most likely your blog or site gets much less comments. So should you be responding to them? Yes. And we're going to get into that. But there's also a bit more to that, and this is relevant to anyone. Interactions are where we make money. Interactions are where we make money. Genuine connections and talking to people is where we make money. The best example I can give on this podcast is I'm talking to you, but I'm not talking with you. Now, if one of you left a comment on the reload, or if you tweeted me and we have a conversation, how much more likely you think you are gonna be to become a customer? Your customers, your leads, your prospects are the same way. I know in this day and age it's so easy to create videos, create content, to speak on this platform, so to speak, with a megaphone. Why, if I can speak to 500 people, would I want to waste my time talking to one person? Well, because that's how the sales can really get made, especially if they're reaching out to you ahead of time. So that being said, why does Neil respond to all his comments? Well, it increases his traffic, sales, and social shares. He goes on to quote a stat, which is a large portion of his university members, 68.1%, have commented on the blog before. Now, maybe these people are giving him money because they are thankful for his responses to his comments, or maybe they just appreciate the free content they're publishing. He is publishing. But either way, that's a hell of a stat. Now, he goes on to note that short replies don't really work as well as more thorough replies, which makes sense. I've seen some of his replies, and when you kind of just get a thank you for the cool comment, you're not, I mean, you're happy that they responded to you, but it also feels insincere, and it kind of feels like, who's really writing that comment, right? Whereas a more thorough reply, even a sentence or two, that kind of actually is like, hey, I read your comment, thanks for the insight, or hey, we changed that, goes a lot longer of a way. Now, I've also personally found that posting and replying to comments on Disqus around the web has sent pretty good traffic on its own. And once again, it doesn't surprise me because a lot of the times I'm either posting on an article and I'm kind of trying to talk towards the content creator. So then he's likely to respond to me. If he responds to me, people are that much more likely to read it. Or I'm actually replying to someone, which once again, I feel like people are more likely to read either a highly upvoted comment on Disqus or a comment and a comment reply. I also go around, if there's a good comment, I'll upvote them. The reason I do this is because I've already taken the time to read an article. It's another 30 seconds, at most a minute, to leave a comment, and that way I can start getting my face out there, start becoming more familiar with these content creators, and as it's proved, it's driven some traffic. Who knows? Maybe you've heard about this podcast because I responded or answered to one of your comments on a completely different blog post on a different blog somewhere. Next up, we have Past the Pop-Up, 10 email marketing tactics you've never tried. So with all my mention of pop-ups, this one has become pretty relevant. And there's three specific standouts that I like, but the whole article has some interesting and cool ways. Now, the first one is get email list signups right on Twitter. So what Product Hunt Ryan Hoover has been doing is he keeps an active Twitter search to spot tweets that are sharing his writing across the web. And the way he does this is by searching for the URL of each post. Now, when he sees a tweet, he replies to the individual with a personalized note of thanks, such as thanks for sharing, the person's name, and a smiley face. But he does not stop there. If the individual replies again, Ryan sends the follow-up. Thanks, by the way, if you're interested, you can subscribe to my blog at, here's the kicker, he posts a Twitter card. Now, by simply including a link within his tweet, the card is embedded, giving users the ability to subscribe to his email list with a single click. On Twitter, if someone clicks a Twitter card, kind of like the Facebook login, it already fills out their information for them and they automatically subscribe. So Ryan says it's beautifully simple. Now, Ryan's conversion rates after a few weeks have been around 60 to 80%. Now, here's why he thinks it works. They're primed. They've already shown an interest in his writing, and the small sign of personal human interaction compels people to reciprocate. And it's very easy. With a single click, they're subscribed. They don't need to verify their email address or enter anything out. By reducing friction, conversions increase. So, tip, check out Share Tally for a quick search of your content URLs to see where your content's URL has been shared around the web. Once again, this goes back to interactions. If you're having interactions with someone on Twitter, maybe it's about something, this is an easy way that you can actually get them to opt in. Next up, we have use the author byline to promote signups. So one of the most widely seen areas of any blog is the little line of text, the byline, at the top of every blog article. Brian Harris of Video Fruit writes on OKDork. The one that says who the post was written by. So it says, say by Sweeney Daniel or by Brian Harris. So what he ended up doing was putting next to it, get free updates of my new posts here with a link. With these byline updates, and originally I think he noticed it on the James Clear blog. With these byline updates, he has gotten a 0.6% opt-in rate of everybody that sees it. So don't expect a massive boost here with this, but it's one of those little things that add up over time to make a big difference. Now, the last tactic I have to say I really like, and there are a few other good ones in there, so I would recommend reading through the list if email marketing is your thing. The last one is use a friendly reply email address. Now, have you ever gotten an email and it's from some company and it says, do not reply or no reply? How annoying is that? Like, oh, so you can send me an email, but you don't want me to respond. I personally don't understand it, and I know it irks me. Anytime if I respond to an email and it bounces back as, a do not reply email address, it just irks me and pisses me off. So what Store Envy does is they let people know there's a friendly human on the other side. So instead of using those types of email addresses, they use please reply at Store Envy. Others like Buffer and Kissmetrics use the author or founder's email address. I know with my personal emails, all my emails have a reply email address. I'm always seeing any email that anyone replies to, I'm seeing it because I should be. I mean, if you get to that point where you're so large that you can't handle the influx of emails, guess what? Hire someone to do it because those emails need to be getting read. Those are your customers. That's your feedback. You got to be reading that kind of stuff. Now let's bounce on to tool time. So there's going to be a range of different tools. Some are quick hitters, others are ones that we love, and we'll dive into a bit more. So the first one is the ad spend calculator. This comes to us from Qwiller. It's hard to pronounce some of these different startup company names sometimes. So Qwiller built this calculator to decide and kind of figure out if they should pay to advertise their startup. Now, by analyzing business metrics such as lifetime customer value, customer acquisition costs, paying per sign-up, and more, they spit out different information. So you enter these different details. So we'll enter this, And basically you enter what your customers are worth, how much, and then it tells you your customer acquisition costs, how much you can pay per sign up, how much you can budget per click, and how much you can budget per 1,000 impressions. This is a really, really good way of knowing your numbers. You know, if you want to get to a cheaper cost per click, or you want to be able to afford more people at a higher budget per sign up, you know the exact things that you need to do to get there, whether, you know, where you need to increase it through the scope. It's a really cool tool. I recommend checking it out. Now, we will also give them a shout out because they did create this wonderful tool. I looked into their software, and what they aim to do is help you create really beautiful quotes and proposals in minutes. So no more Excel, no more, you know, none of those ugly Excel spreadsheets. So by using their visual quoting tool, quotes are delivered as web pages and work seamlessly on desktops, tablets, and phones. I gotta say, they look really nice. I did not get a chance to personally create one. I don't do too much quotes and proposals, but if you do, I definitely recommend checking it out. Now the next one is, let me get down to it. This is GIF YouTube. Now I had a link pulled up for this, and they actually, I think they got slammed today. They've been featured in a few different spots, so I'm not going to pull that up. But what GIF YouTube allows you to do is you can easily create GIFs from YouTube videos ranging from 1 second to 10 seconds. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, because GIFs are very viral, and frankly, they're more interesting than boring content. They're also really good for product and feature demos as well. So if you have a little 10-second clip of a new demo or a new feature, say you have 3 new features, GIFs are my favorite way to set it up. I mean, they just work. People can't resist but watch them. They're on this autoplay loop, so you end up watching them more at once. Or maybe you had a funny, you know, blooper from one of your videos, and you want to run that to actually seem like a real person. That works. Speaking of real people, our next one is Human. So it's Humin. Now what they do is they are a phone book, but they are much more functional than a typical phone book. So Human is designed to be a new contextual phone app that captures all of your relationships and remembers people the same way you think about them. The product is built on a smarter search, think PageRank for people, that lets you search everyone in your network with terms like met last week or works at product hunt. So if you do a lot of events and networking, you know how hard it can be to remember people sometimes. I actually got an individual's number once, and I thought about it recently, and I wanted to reach out to him and follow up with him on a few different things. Couldn't remember his name. I know where we met. I could probably pinpoint the night that we met, but I couldn't tell you his name. Well, this can help solve that problem, such as the met last week, or you can search for lives in Chicago features. They go on to say that Human reminds you who will be in your next meeting, connects you with friends when you travel, and shows you when someone you know is visiting your city, which is a feature that I love. That's something I always wanted to have, and ideally on Facebook, I felt like there had to be a way. Wouldn't it be cool to kind of automatically tell your friends when you're traveling to their city or not, or automatically know if someone's in town? And I don't mean it in a creepy way. I mean, ideally, these are your friends after all, or people, your acquaintances if you have their numbers. Next up, we have the StocksIAm. Now, they tout themselves to be the best royalty stock-free photos in one place, and they seem to hit the mark. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. Now, what they did is they use a sidebar. It's a pretty simple actually. They have a sidebar to the left of these different stock-free sites. I think it looks like there's about 10, give or take. And what you do is you click on one, and then the site loads to the right. So you have the sidebar on the left, you have the site on the right, so you can load these different sites quickly and all in the same place and kind of breeze through them to look for the image that you want. It also is really nice too because I forget about all these different little sites, and oh, you can even search, so you can search the site as well. Quite nice. I forget about all these different little sites, and every time I need a stock photo, I remember Unsplash or, I remember one of them, but I don't remember all of them. So this is a really nice way to kind of just click, 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 and go through, find what you need, and go about your day. Now, next up, we have early traction. So Noah Kagan has just been on a blogging rampage. This guy has just been going nuts. So he had a guest post on Andrew Chin's blog revealing how AppSumo grew over 147,000 new subscribers from running giveaways back in the first 10 months of 2012. So he talks about how to go from 0 to 150,000 email subscribers. Now, the one method that he constantly recommends and is the focus of this post is giveaways. Now, what is a giveaway? If you don't know, a giveaway is considered when you give away something physical, a digital item, or a service to people in exchange for visitors signing up for your newsletter. At AppSumo, we further incentivize these customers, or those customers, with getting additional entries by referring friends via Facebook, Twitter, or sharing an incentivized link however they please. Now, we've done something similar ourselves for the iTunes reviews. We did the massive giveaway, which you can see right up here on the right sidebar, the $1,500 plus massive giveaway. And what we did was we had a few different products, all priced around $300 and even a $300 credit, that we gave away one for every 10 reviews we got. Now, personally, I think we had pretty great success with it, especially all things considered. So I can speak for it in the sense that I think giveaways do work. Now let's jump into how Noah Kagan does his giveaways. So he has a recent giveaway that he's running for AppSumo, and they're using the King Sumo giveaways tool that they just released to the public a month ago. Now for this giveaway, or giveaways in general, they generally seed the initial users in hopes that it goes viral. So first he'll tweet or email a few people who he thinks will be interested. Then the people will see and enter the giveaway. Afterwards, they will be incentivized to share. So they have a timer which creates an urgency. So people are incentivized to share sooner. Then they've optimized which buttons to show and where, so people will share the giveaway and they can get even more people to join. Now, giveaways do vary in performance, but let him repeat, they are one of the best, most cost-effective ways of getting new customers. Now, some exact statistics from AppSumo doing over 25 giveaways, in the past 4 years, over 500,000 total subscribers, over 866,000 in revenue, and 442,000 in gross profit. That does not include unsubscribes, email removals, or the cost of the giveaways themselves. Now, overall profit per subscriber across all giveaways, the average is 83 cents profit per new subscriber. He also goes on to focus on the biggest flop. So the biggest flop based on gross profit per new subscriber was giving away 2 MacBook Airs. Did not do well at 24 cents gross profit per new subscriber. The best giveaway based on profit per new subscriber was the monthly 1K entrepreneur getaway. So it was 5 days working one-on-one with Noah Kagan to start a business. Now, that one did $6.90 gross profit per new subscriber and had an ROI of 10 times. Now, to be fair, the worst one had an ROI of almost 5 times. So they didn't do too bad. Now, we also have some tips for running giveaways. So buy Facebook ad traffic against the company you're sponsoring or towards your target audience. They've seen CPAs lower than their regular ad buying. Number 2, when doing a giveaway, try to co-partner with a company so they'll promote for you and you can promote their product. Number 3, give away a smaller, more related item to your audience versus a broader item like a Kindle, laptops, or Netflix subscriptions. For example, iPads got them a ton more emails, but profit is what pays the bills, and their entrepreneur giveaway was 2.3 times more profitable. Now, you could argue to a degree that while profit is nice, scale is also nice, so that's something to keep in mind. Number 4, A/B test your messaging for giveaways. The message people share for your giveaway can have a huge impact on vitality. Try variations to see which gives you the biggest boost. Number 5, most giveaways get 25 to 40% new subscribers for email your list. So don't worry about your overall unsubscribes and promote your giveaway to your email list. Number 6, Twitter followers increase as people share your giveaway more. A nice benefit. Here's an example from his personal account via giveaway last month, and it's actually a pretty small photo. It's just, naturally goes up and to the right. And number 7, there's a diminishing marginal return to doing giveaways, so don't do them weekly. He recommends doing them quarterly. Overall, he says giveaways are a great tactic in your marketing arsenal. Use it and let them know how it works out. Now, he did just come out with his product, King Sumo Giveaways, and there is actually a code, Andrew Chen, for 50% off for Andrew Chen readers. Obviously, I'm sure you can use it as well. So check that out if you are into giveaways, or if this convinced you. Now, lastly, we have a few honorable mentions. So these Friday reloads have been getting a bit longer than I would like. I really do want to keep them under 30 minutes at max. So I've included some honorable mentions to keep it smaller. Now, the first one is Import.io at HustleCon, 10,000 leads in 10 minutes. This is a slideshow where they talk about how they got 10,000 leads in 10 minutes. It has to do with scraping, and it does seem white hat, and I definitely like the idea. But the 10,000 leads in 10,000 minutes is a bit of an oversell. Next is 9 case studies that will help you reduce SaaS churn. The next is defining happiness, the oft-forgotten key to conversion. So this is about how big of a role happiness plays in copywriting. Next up is announcing the all-new beginner's guide to link building. This was on Moz. And then last, we have diving into the ASL Ice Bucket Challenge, viral success for a cause, and why dumping a bucket of ice on yourself is so popular. So this kind of breaks down, how this viral ice bucket challenge has just blown up, why it's gotten so huge, and why did it become so huge? I mean, how did it become so huge, and everything around it. So that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed the Friday Reload number 16. I hope you guys liked it. We will have another podcast for you on Tuesday. And you guys definitely enjoy your week. We do have Labor Day coming up here soon, but let's not go too crazy. Let's make sure we get some work done, and then we enjoy our vacation next week.